So Victoria, really nice to have you here, and we are really all the time also appreciate you having you as a judge at our unicorn battles. Tell us more, actually, for the first time, how have you entered our startup network ecosystem?
Of course. So apparently, Unicorn Battle was Expert Dojo's partner in the past 2 years, I believe. And my CEO Brian asked me to attend a couple of, battles instead of him, and I really enjoyed it, meeting a new people and also meeting a new companies. And it was very organized, and I am a kind of a judge in so many places, but none of them has been that organized and kind of automated as Unicorn Battle, and that's why I liked it. So I attended majority of the battles around the world, and yeah, and I started to learn more about your network and what you provide. So that's a very interesting organization, very successful in my eyes, since you are connecting the startups with the right VCs and accelerators.
Actually, thank you so much for such feedback, because one of the things which I wanted to ask you, actually, what makes you want to come back to our battles? And you practically answer this, because we really appreciate when you see and you can notice the organization and everything what we are doing. So we also all the time really appreciate when the judges, like, when they feel comfortable and when they notice such things which make our work more pleasant, and it makes us more enthusiastic. Can you also share with us about the startups right now? Which maybe the most promising solutions you have seen, or which, for example, the startup founders were so inspiring for you that you remember it even right now, or maybe it's like the brightest moments during your judging?
It was the company that is helping, people with a disability of, talking, and that company itself, it's work with the voice detector and helping those people that they had a trauma or they had an accident or they born in a different way, and that was the moment that I really, I thought that world has a value and technology has a value, because you see so many kind of startups that they are in various industries and they still have some impact in their own industry to make the life of users easier, or create something that is meaningful. But at the time that I met that company, I think they were in Ukraine or Estonia, I don't honestly remember, and I felt that this impact, there's so many hearts that for so many years they haven't lived properly, and they had always looked at differently. So it's going to solve a huge problem for them and make their life easier, that they are a minority and nobody looked at them because the market wasn't that big or that wasn't very profitable. So it was a kind of a eyes opening moment.
Thank you. Actually, it's really interesting for me, to be honest, to listen for the first time, because maybe some of these startups I haven't seen, of course, all of them. So for me, it's all the time interesting to listen to feedback. What kind of, probably the most common feedback you're giving to startups, and what kind of piece of advice do you give them whenever you see them pitching?
So normally I look at how they can scale, and I try to tell them that if you build your company and make it kind of successful, then with the bigger vision you have, investors gonna knock your door rather than you knock their door. So if it's not the matter of raising, I understand that you need to raise in order to grow. However, certain parts of building a sustainable business is not only because of the money; it's because of the vision of a founder.
Mhm.
And thinking about that bigger vision is very, very important. That how you can, grow, and how you can, create a business that is profitable enough that investors, they come to you rather than you come to them. So, which is a kind of a power struggle. If you go to them, it's coming, so many times you see that, getting to them is very difficult. But when you are a successful business, actually they need to knock your door, and the power talk is very different. The dynamic of a conversation that you have with them is completely different from a time that you go to them without even having a, sustainable, revenue stream, or having a vision of how you're gonna build this business to be successful.
Victoria, actually talking about value, as you mentioned, really for each of startup, it's important to bring value. And when like you bring the investors will be more interested in you. Right now, like talking about our startup network ecosystem, we would like to know as well from your perspective, what value does startup network bring?
I think startup networks gives a very good exposure to various types of investors, from accelerator to the VCs in various industries, and the views that we provide to the startups is actually helping them to get the feedback on board and work on themselves and get ready to the point that they are investable. So it's a good kind of a trial for them in order to make things happen in the future. And that platform that you have a kind of three, four investors, they are beside you and they actually give you feedbacks. It's like at the same time you are dealing with three, four VCs. And that feedback is very valuable because every VCs, they have their different, perspective, and you can take them on board and bring something that is kind of very much aligned with everybody.
Thank you. Actually, we appreciate such kind of feedback. Victoria, we are now awaiting and preparing and doing everything like for our Unicorn Cup finals this season to be bright and memorable. From your perspective, do you expect it as well? And what would you like to see there among, I mean, in terms of pitching, among the startups, how would you like to see our finals?
I like to see, a more kind of aligned type of startup. So in terms of a level, and in terms of, I like the fact that recently you changed and you are specifically working in like each industry. So it gives more kind of an aspect to it, that it's more aligned and it's more focused on each battle. So it's actually good for startups as well, and see that what is exactly in the market and who are the indirect competitors of them, not necessarily in the kind of a same field, but in the same sector, that they might see, and they can improve it in their favor.
Mhm. Thank you, Victoria. Also, what do you think in the future for the next season? And sometimes at our battles, uh, we named the poll. We highlighted the poll where you could like, for example, vote for which for this or the other niche vertical. So in your case, what do you expect, and do you expect the next season of Unicorn Battles, and which probably niches verticals would you like to see there?
Uh, Honestly, the AI is very, kind of at the moment is very hot, and future of work is another, topic that everybody they're talking about it. So for sure, we like to see. However, I like to see companies that they have a bigger impact, not necessarily in bio or medical. They can be in fintech, they can be anything that has that social aspect of it, that they're gonna change the dynamic of a world. I like to see. However, these industries that they are at the moment are very hot. So of course I love to see them too, because it's kind of part of the industry, and we love to see breakthrough into these industries, that the dynamic of the world is changing, and how this technology gonna, kind of help us.
Thank you. And lastly, Victoria, do you want us to do more battles next season?
I think that the previous season you had enough, and I loved it. And I think that if you want to have more, we always welcome that. So, but I feel that it was technically covered so many regions. I like to see more like a Eastern Europe type of companies, more the regions that haven't been tapped in, like more like Azerbaijan, Armenia, Russia, Belarus. These countries hasn't been tapped in the previous, kind of a battle, as far as I know. And I think that, separating them from Europe would be help, because the quality of the companies are different. And it's nice that, kind of Eastern European countries, they come together and present themselves. I like to see that, because hasn't been tapped previous season. So that's kind of my feedback. I am very much active in those regions, and I see that they have a lot of potential around them. So it's nice to see that they have their own battle too.
Thank you, Victoria. Actually, talking about very quickly about Armenia, I see really that they're very right now focusing on IT as well. So really focus there. So I also hope that there will be more very successful IT startups from there. Victoria, once again, thank you so much for your feedback, for joining our interview. We definitely will share with you when it will be released, and you will have the chance to watch it. And please join us for our Unicorn Camp battles.
Of course, I would love that. And please share the 17 one. I will be there. And it's always a pleasure working with your community and with your network. And I look forward to it.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we love to have you as well. Bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great one, Maria.
Have a great, in your
Bye-bye.
a great day. Yes?
Yeah, yes. And have a great evening.